All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of A Sip of Knowledge. This week with special guest Nick Nagele from Whiskey Acres Distilling Company. Lou Bryson is here. Liz Rhoades is trying to get here. I think she's having a few Wi-Fi issues right now. Hopefully she'll be able to join us. But real quick, before I turn things over to them, I'm Will Hookinga from Zavvi.co. And as always, just want to point out a few different ways that you can interact with your hosts, with their guests throughout the show today. So on your right, you'll see a chat box. Feel free to say hello. Let us know where you're joining us from around the world. It's always great to see that. If you have a question at any point during the show, there's a little button at the bottom of the screen. It says ask a question. So just click or tap that button, type your question in, send it on over. I'll be keeping an eye out for those throughout the show. And last but not least, feel free to invite your friends to join us. There's a share button at the top that makes it easy to do that. But with that out of the way, Lou, I'll turn things over to you now.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Will, I'm sorry. Duh. Nick is the guest. Jeez.
Hey.
So, you there. So welcome, everybody, to this edition of A Sip of Knowledge. We are joined by Nick Nagele from Whiskey Acres in DeKalb, Illinois. Is that right?
DeKalb, Illinois.
DeKalb, Illinois. Okay.
When we work with Dave Pickerel, he used to call it DeKalb. And I just let him say it. I didn't. Whatever.
I correct him.
Yeah, that's right.
So I am Lou Bryson, a whiskey writer. I am the former editor of Whiskey Advocate magazine. I did that for about 20 years. I am out on my own freelancing, and I am, of course, there we go. Damn background just gets weird on me. I'm not actually sitting in front of the Pool Forge covered bridge. I'm just at home. I am the author of Whiskey Masterclass, a book that appears to be disappearing. I actually, a little bit of news on that one. That's the other book, Tasting Whiskey. Get both of them immediately. I'm just back from a week in Philadelphia recording the audiobook of Whiskey Masterclass. And of course, when that is out, I will be flogging it with all my might. So don't worry, you'll find out about it. We are going to be joined by Liz Rhoades, and we'll let her whip in a quick introduction when she gets in. But at this point, one thing I almost forgot. I am, as usual, having a whiskey, and this week it's something a little special. It is the third of Dickel's Cascade Moon releases. The first one I really liked. The second one, not so much. And I'm finding out about this one. This is a 13-year-old rye whiskey that they had distilled at MGP, whatever it's being called now, in Indiana. And then after 4 years, took it down to Tullahoma and aged it in their warehouses for an additional 9 years, and then selected the barrels and put it out. And that is, I mean, it's a really good 13-year-old rye, you know, in line with the 13-year-old bottled and bond Dickel that they did the past couple of years. Except unfortunately, this one's quite a bit more expensive because there's quite a bit less of it. But it is smelling and tasting really good. So enough of that. Nick, welcome to A Sip of Knowledge. We're gonna start off the same way we always start off. How the hell did you get here? I mean, with you, it's going to be a kind of a simpler story because everybody else is like, well, I tried this, then I tried that, and then I went to school for this. But you just kind of grew up on the farm. Is that?
If it were only that simple, Lou. Come
Nothing's
on.
ever that simple.
Nothing is ever that simple. So, first of all, thanks for having me.
Sure.
It's an honor to be here and very much looking forward to the next hour. So I'm one of the co-founders of Whiskey Acres. I have two business partners, Jim and Jamie Walter, and we actually built Whiskey Acres on their family's farm in DeKalb, Illinois. I grew up in Sheldon, Illinois, which is like 100 miles straight south of Chicago. My dad is currently operating, our portion of the family farm, and the family has been farming in the area since the 1860s. So, we go deep in terms of production agriculture. The farm I grew up on, we raised
What kind of farm is it? I'm sorry.
Corn and soybeans. We had farrow to finish hog operation until 2002 or 3 or something like that. And then we continued to run a herd of Black Angus cow calf. So, get literally dirty and kind of have to have a little bit of knowledge of everything to keep the place running. Fortunately and unfortunately, the family operation is big enough that my dad needs help, but wasn't big enough that he needed a partner or an employee who would demand what I hoped I was worth. And so I went to the University of Illinois and studied agriculture, communications, and also got a kind of a secondary degree in advertising. I didn't have a clear path of what the hell you do with that, other than one of the biggest pieces of things that I sort of had this epiphany on when I graduated high school with 15 kids. So, we'll talk about small town. That was it. And I was related to about a third of them. And then went to the University of Illinois, and I think we had a graduating class of 6,000, with 30 or 40,000 folks on campus.
That's a shock.
And was constantly, it was heaven. It was just, I love home.
But nobody in your business, or
that's right. You got to start over. There was no grudges for something that my grandpa did to somebody else's uncle or anything like that. It was just a complete clean start, and got to totally be yourself and create yourself. But one of the things I noticed was how few people had a true understanding of production agriculture, and not so far as to how to.
I mean, even people in the program.
People in the yes, even people in the program. Yes,
wow.
even people. There were people in that program who had not stepped foot on a farm before.
That's amazing. Okay.
And so, always kind of in the back of my mind, I've always had a passion for helping to bridge that gap, to make what we do on the farm totally transparent, and really kind of showcase what we do often too quietly. My dad, my grandfather never went someplace and told what they were doing. They just woke up in the morning and they did it. Right. And that's actually been one of the biggest challenges of agriculture, particularly in the last, call it 30 years, as we've adapted and adopted to so much technology. People are fearful of the unknown. And so by farmers almost being too passive, they've let other people create the narrative for what we do on the farm, on the production side of things. So after college, I was actually fortunate enough to be able to get into a program that was almost written for my curriculum, where I traveled the Midwest teaching farm to table or ag education programs. Hi, Liz.
Hey, Liz. Oh my God, you're in your car?
I am literally in my car. It's been a wild adventure here in New York City this morning. But I'm here,
right. There was some kind of attack.
Yep. Verizon totally down in my whole district, in my neighborhood. So I've been scooting around in my car trying to find Wi-Fi and cell signal for the entire day. But I'm happy to be here. Refreshing distraction. We're here. And again, super excited to have you on. I'm excited to be here, and I'm always welcoming a conversation when it's rooted in agriculture. And that's, I feel like, what today's about. I'm super late. Thank you everyone for joining. And yeah, please, let's continue the conversation.
Yeah, Nick, sorry, you were where you were talking about getting into a program with communication and agriculture.
Guys, I can't hear anything right now.
Oh, well. Can
Hey, I'm here.
okay.
So Nick, I think the best thing, if you can't hear, would be to refresh your browser and try coming back. Of course, if you can't hear me right now, that's probably not much help. Lou, are you able to call
I'm
Nick?
typing.
Okay, he can see the chat.
Okay, that's kind of a good sign.
Just as soon as we got everyone all together, too,
I
you know?
know,
Isn't that how it works out?
I know. I was just like, I'm thinking, is he sitting there? Is he disapproving?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear us,
Excellent.
Nick? Well, maybe
It's,
not.
everything I hear coming now is
The whiskey
scrambled.
gods aren't in our favor today.
Hang with us a little bit because a lot of times it'll settle out by itself. Is it getting any better? Uh-oh.
Headphones are coming off. It's getting real.
Okay. Is that better? Man, he's not hearing us at all. Oh, it's you, Liz. It's got to be you.
It always is.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
But you don't hear us at all. Damn.
That is odd.
Yeah, we never really had it drop out like this before.
He said everything was fine until Liz came on.
I know.
Liz, I don't think you should take that personally.
How else is she going to take it? Oh, good. You had frozen there for a bit. I was afraid we'd lost you, too. Wow.
Let's see. I'm going to ask him to refresh again now that his headphones are off.
Oh, okay. Well, I will take this opportunity to have some more whiskey. Liz,
Lou,
I
I
don't know if
missed
you...
it. What are you
I
imbibing?
have the new DeKalb Cascade Moon that just came out. It's a
How about
13-year-old
now, Nick?
rye. Still not hearing us.
Doesn't seem like it.
Damn.
Um,
I know.
Can you guys hear me?
yes.
Wow.
Lou, can you say something again?
Yeah, do you hear me? No.
So maybe in the meantime, while Nick is figuring that out, Lou, why were you interested in having Nick on to begin with?
Oh, I mean, because of the farm to bottle thing. Because a lot of places talk about being grain to glass, and what they mean is they buy the grain and they mash it and distill it and they make whiskey and they put it in the bottle. I mean, at whiskey they actually grow the grain that they use. They grow all of it. And the other thing, I mean, that's not unique. It's not common, but
Uncommon, yeah.
yeah. The other thing that interests me, I mean, I remember talking to Nick for a story I was writing. Wow, I don't know, like pre-pandemic, maybe even before that, like 2018, and just how. Well, I heard something.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Oh, that's right. We can hear him. That's not the problem. It's
Hey,
him
Nick,
hearing
can you hear us now?
And now Liz went away.
There's a lot going on right now.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's the damn covered bridge. I'll get rid of that.
Nick, are you able to hear us
Can you hear
from your
me?
phone?
I heard you.
Getting the same thing.
Hello?
Still not hearing us. And you know, it worked. Whoa, that's
Let's
weird.
see. Nick, can you hear us?
Yeah.
You hear me on my
Okay.
phone?
No. This must be weird to watch. This must
Yes,
be...
thank you for your patience, everyone. All right. Well, we'll give Nick a few minutes to restart, and if that doesn't work out,
Well, I do hesitate to say what you were asking about. The other reason I wanted to get him on was because of all the technology they used on the farm.
of course, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they had like temperature and moisture probes in the field, so they could record what was happening with the crop as it grew, and what kind of effect that had on yield, on flavor, on I don't know, ease of production, all that. And I just thought that was really interesting. And now, I don't know, maybe there was too much technology and it got overwhelmed. I don't know.
Possibly so.
Yeah, too much
are they
Bluetooth going
supplying
on.
just their distillery, or do you know if
Yes.
they sell to other distilleries?
To the best of my knowledge, just theirs.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it would have been especially an interesting conversation with Liz on as well, since
Yes.
Whistlepig is into quite a bit of that. In addition,
yeah, because I'm not sure. A conversation between you and I is really what people dialed in for.
probably not.
No, I don't think so. I mean, not to take away anything from either of us, but
Sure.
yeah,
it's not what people signed up for.
No.
But what about beyond this? Are you working on any stories right now?
Actually, I am working on a story that made me think of stuff that Nick does. I'm working on the third vodka story of my career.
Oh, wow.
But the nice thing about that is I've reached the point where I can pick what the vodka story is, and I decided to do something on vodkas with odd feedstocks, like vodkas made from honey, apples. I was hoping unfortunately, it's a regional magazine I'm working for, a New England magazine, so I couldn't find anybody who was doing one with whey, because I thought whey was a really interesting thing, because there's just, I mean, if you're a huge producer of cheese, you have places to send the whey, because you can send it to like feed producers for animals, a variety of things.
Right.
But if you're a small producer, you got a bunch of the stuff and you don't really have an outlet for it. And still
Any
nothing.
luck, Nick?
Damn.
It seems no.
Getting the same thing.
That's very interesting, because it worked fine for
half
an hour before we started. Unless your volume is turned down. Yeah, Lou, Liz and I were just at the ACSA judging, and there was one. I didn't do the vodka, but I do know that there was a sweet potato vodka that
I saw a sweet
quite
potato
well.
vodka.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's as uncommon as some of the ingredients that you listed, but
I haven't seen that. I mean, I think apple probably isn't.
Yeah.
But actually, as that guy said, oh man, we're frozen too, he says. Dang.
This may be an issue with Nick's Wi-Fi in that case. Oh, he says he has full Wi-Fi bars.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit at a loss then. Yeah, Lou,
something.
I'm not sure. It may be best to regroup and try this again at a later date.
That's what I'm wondering. I think we're like wasting people's time at this point, and I don't want to do that. So
okay. Well, in that case,
I can still hear him.
Yeah, Nick can't hear us, but I think the best thing to do, maybe we will reach out to Nick and work toward rescheduling this at a later date. And in the meantime, figure out whatever technology issues disrupted us today. So apologies to everyone in attendance, and we'll be back at it soon. All right. Sound good, Lou?
Yeah. That's what we're going to do, folks. We will reschedule this because I definitely want to have Nick on. This was us reaching out to him because I just think he's got and Whiskey Acres has an interesting story, one that we want to talk about, and one that we want to get with Liz when she's not in the vicinity of a possible terrorist incident. So that's what we're going to do.
All right.
Sorry, we'll wrap it up and get back to it later.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.